Welcome fellow YouTubers, and welcome for myself because this is my first YouTube. But I am so excited because you guys are about to see my whole comp prep journey heading towards the 2019 Arnold stage bikini junior lineup. As we know, I actually did place first, which I'm very still shocked about and still exciting. So I've got big things in the future to come, but I will take you through everything, and this is some of the captions that I did get along the way. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, just comment below. So pretty much when I first started my comp preparation, it was 20 weeks before stepping on stage. So to me, it was firstly making that decision on whether or not I wanted to do a comp. The only thing that was really holding me back from doing it sooner was obviously the fact that I probably mentally wasn't stable enough. I had a lot of things that went on in my life that I had to personally deal with. And I know if I had that pressure of a comp on top of it, that I wouldn't probably been able to mentally handle that. I came across Kelly Summit. She's with the TFM group. And I'm so glad that I went with Kelly because we are absolutely, she's an amazing person. And so once I had that actually sorted, I talked to her about it, and I talked to her about my doubts, and she said, honestly, I've never met a person like her. She goes, yeah, but why are these people telling you, you know, that Arnold's is too big, you know, you shouldn't have that doubt in your mind. You should always say, okay, yeah, that makes me want to strive and be better. So pretty much I had a lot of support from her, and she believes me in every step that I was doing, and it made me actually believe in myself. And instead of doubting myself, saying, okay, you know, worried about everything else that's happening, she actually made sense to me, because I'm like, well, you know, why can't I do that? Or I shouldn't have that against me to not want to go out there and do it. So pretty much we decided, yep, let's go in, let's do it, let's do this thing. And then we pretty much started training straight away. So I had my diet and my nutrition, and she organized all of that. And pretty much it all began. So I was prepared for it. And I'm glad I did it when I did it. So being so young as well, at the age of 20, is a little bit different, because obviously you're coming up against girls with mature muscle, that, like I've said, competed a few times. So I am still obviously at a younger age group. But the fact that I've been and done that now is amazing for me at the age of 20. Purely because I really wanted to do it. I'll show you a few photos why. So having my pop pass away in 2018 February was a really hard thing for me. I still haven't properly dealt with it. The year before that, I also had a close best friend of mine pass away in a car accident. These were both really tragic for me, especially watching my pop go through everything that he went through. So he had, cancers under the sun. He was always such a strong man, and we were like best friends. We were so close. And to see him go through slowly not being able to handle life itself, just slowly dying pretty much, it was really hard. So this teary so like I would go back home, and even though that I'd try to see him and stuff, it would get to the stage where he would not even be able to have a shower because the steam was too much for him and his lungs would collapse. And to see that firsthand, someone you love so much, was hard. And I got to the stage where I didn't even really want to go back home because I didn't want to see him like that. And I still remember to the day that I still got a phone call saying that he didn't make it through the night. And that always lit up a fire in me because he was always so proud of the fact that I went out and did my own thing. I'm originally from the country, so I'm originally from Wangaratta, and I moved down to Melbourne probably 2 years ago because pretty much I wanted to make something of myself. I firstly went to uni and I did sports science, a Bachelor of Sports Science, and he was so proud of the fact that I was the first one in our family to even go to uni. During this time, I was so focused on studying, work, and living in a house with some roommates that I never got time to go down and see him. So I didn't really spend much time with him before he passed. So he always believed in me and always said, you know, you should go for after what you want. And so after he passed, that pretty much just lit a fire up in me and just said, you know what, I really need to do something that's going to make him proud. So doing this comp for me was a big thing because in the back of my head, I wanted to make Pop proud. Even though that I didn't fully believe in myself, I knew I would always have him there to support me. And yeah, that's pretty much why I wanted to do it, as well as me as a personal trainer for my business. I knew that if I was going to do this comp, that it would grow me a lot more clients hopefully, and it would make me look better overall as a trainer because I've experienced that sort of environment. I knew also that I would meet so many more people doing it, and which I have. So I'm so happy the fact that I have those people to call friends now and they help me with my business. So that's pretty much the main reasons why I did do it. So pretty much with training, I would train every day, pretty much 3 hours. So what I would do in the morning is I would do fasted cardio. In the afternoon after my clients and stuff like that, I would obviously do weights, a weighted session, and then do more cardio. So every day was non-stop. I didn't have any rest days, and pretty much it was just go, go, go all the time. So you had to get your sessions in, you had to eat your meals, and you had to be right with timing. So it wasn't like I was like getting rest. My body was continuously moving all the time, and it was just constant.
Good. Just to there, back down. Good. Good, keep going.
So with nutrition, there was pretty much nothing other than clean eating. There was no flexible dieting. There was no, you know, if it fits your macros. It was pretty much all clean eating. So just clean foods. Half the way through, obviously you'd take out sauces and stuff like that. And then obviously you reduce your salt and your water at the end of the leading week. So during my preparation with nutrition, it was obviously hard. It was the hardest probably to be there at Christmas and New Year's because, oh my God, like I had Nana's cakes around me everywhere. And my family were really, really hard with that. They didn't understand how serious it was, and I would go out somewhere or would go out water skiing or something, and you wouldn't have those foods around you because it wouldn't be cool all day. It would be off and I wouldn't eat it, and then you'd have people coming to you or your family saying, oh, you know, just have this, it'll be all right. Like, it was that mental, it was trying to wrap my head around it, and it made me feel guilty, obviously, because I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, and you feel bad because you're not eating their food, or you choose not to eat because it's not on your particular meal plan. It was really hard in those circumstances. You know, you'd sit down for Christmas or a family meal, everyone else is eating different food. You feel really left out, but at the end of the day, you've still got to remember like why you're doing it, and it is so like the determination to put yourself into those situations is so hard. So what I would usually do is I would cook my meals, but I would have them with my family, just so I did sort of feel included. The other suggestions that were really, really hard for me was obviously the cravings of peanut butter. Oh my God. Like I've actually had to throw that many peanut butter jars out of my house because I just couldn't control myself. Sometimes you would go through, especially girls being hormonal and having our monthly dues, I sometimes would just, I could not be in control of it. I would just keep eating and eating. It was like binge eating, and I had to tell my Nana to, you know, stop me. Like, and those were the certain times that I would find it really, really hard, and I would talk to Kelly about. The other times that were really hard, obviously, was leading into getting closer into the competition. Even little things like Brazil nuts that you can snack on, you would just keep snacking on them because you were that like hungry. So I would have to then again get Nana to pack them for me and then give them to me when I asked her. And I wish I did that from the start because I wouldn't have probably been snacking on them so much. This was all a learning curve for me, obviously, and going into the next one, I'll be more prepared mentally on how to handle these situations. The first time is obviously probably the hardest because you don't know what you're in for and you don't know how everyone's going to react to it. But obviously going through Christmas and New Year's was the hardest. So I have learnt a lot throughout nutrition just in general and how much it affects the body. I couldn't even digest turkey breast, which I had all throughout my prep in those leading weeks, because your body becomes that sensitive to foods, especially when you're starting to lean down to such a particular body weight. When I had my first body scan, I was 12%. I don't actually remember particularly when that was, but obviously coming into it, and when you do get leaner, you do realize how much having certain foods and certain meals will adjust towards your body and how it impacts on your body and how you feel. So, and that's one of the important things as well, like going through prep, and that's what Kelly reassured me, is that how do you feel after each meal? You know, is it bloating you? Is it does it make you feel good? Is it like, how is it reacting in the body? So particular foods you'd get used to. Even now afterwards, I find that I actually know sort of when to stop. Either I know when to stop or I'll binge. Otherwise, I do actually enjoy clean eating food now a lot more than what I probably would have. And it's taken me a lot out of this prep. I wouldn't have milk, I wouldn't have bread, I wouldn't have anything. It would just be so clean that your body gets immune to having such clean foods. And it does actually make you feel good. It is, and you know, obviously what you put in comes out. So if you're putting shitty foods into you during a prep, obviously it's not going to come out too well unless you're on a, if it fits your macros or if you have to mentally have it for some unknown reason. But I'm really glad that now I have actually taken from what I've taken out of prep to what I can implement now, which is clean eating. I did actually receive some bad news. So one of my ex-roommates that I actually lived with for a few year committed suicide. And to me, being in a comp prep mode, I didn't know how to handle it. I probably got angry at the start, and then I probably got really emotional, and then it started to hit me. Even being at the funeral, I just honestly felt numb. I think I felt numb because I had 3 close, you know, male figures in my life that have just passed away, and it was hard to deal with. That still didn't, I didn't let it get myself down so much, because I knew that in my head I was just so focused on getting this comp prep out of the way and done, that I would deal with all my emotions at the end. And I think it actually helped me get through that, because my mind was so occupied on wanting to do this for myself, and I knew that those that were looking down at me would be proud of what I was doing. And emotionally, I feel like I just put it all to the side, because I knew the fact that if I dealt with everything that was going on inside my head, I probably wouldn't have been able to get up and continuously do things. I know that some days I would really struggle and you'd be emotional, but you would just have to talk to your coach about it and, you know, remind yourself on why you were doing this and prove to yourself that you can do it, and that everything else is not going to matter until, you know, you've finished this thing, and then you can deal with everything. That was pretty much what was going inside of my head. Other than that, some days I would be absolutely fine, I'd be bubbly. Some days I would have the worst days, but that's bound to happen. It's with everything that happens in life, in general. We have our good and we have our bad days. So it was still the same, but obviously in a comp preparation, it's still going to be obviously more dramatic. So during my prep, I was actually working as a personal trainer, as I still am. However, when I was going through prep, it was really hard because I actually was working a lot of hours. So at the start of my preparation for comp, I was probably working around 14 hours a day. Now, even though that probably all those hours weren't working hours, you still had to train, you still had to eat, and you still had to get everything else done during that day. So it was like time was so precious at that point, because even when I would have a half an hour break, I would be so out of it and fatigued that I couldn't possibly get anything done for the business. So it was a really hard time for me trying to realize that I couldn't put so much time into my business, because I am very business orientated and I do want to excel really well in my business. So it was hard for me to comprehend that. I had to realize to put comp prep first before any of my clients, because at the start of my preparation, my clients were still my #1 thing, and they really are. It's really important to me for them to get results as well. So in that realization of me being fatigued and so drained, like you can't express how drained you are unless you've been through this sort of experiment. And trying to motivate others, sometimes it was challenging. It was hard, because at the end of the day, you were so focused on yourself, or you were so focused on food all the time. And at the end of the day, your head would just be cluttered. It just felt like clay, because you had so many things in your mind, so much to do. and you realize that you couldn't mentally keep up with it all. So eventually, I pretty much burnt myself out. I had numerous of people telling me, you know, you need to cut back, because they could just see me physically draining and mentally. Mentally, it started getting to me, and I realized. So that's when I actually took a step back, and I was like, hey, like, I really can't keep going like this. Otherwise, I won't be able to function. So I pretty much stopped working so much. I didn't cancel any clients or anything like that. I just told them all that these are the only particular times that I could do. And pretty much they were happy to work with me on this, because they realized how much it actually meant to me. So work was very chaotic, and that's something that I will take from this journey going into the next one, to be prepared work-wise, what hours I'm sort of willing to work, and to always put comp prep first. So just eating now, and then I'll go practice posing.
Bring it on. We drift